maybe we as Black people can start a campaign. Let's do a reboot of A Different World. That would be pretty awesome to see, because we know the effect that it has on your subconscious. I mean, when The Different World was happening, enrollment of Black people at HBCUs and in college in general was the highest it had ever been with that one TV show. It works, boys. Media works. It definitely programs you.
Well, what's interesting is that the comments that I saw relative to Kamala, sort of showing off the cast of A Different World to get votes, there were people in there that went out of their way to say, by the way, we should thank Dr. Cosby and Dr. Alvin Poussant for creating the show.
And Dr.
And
Comer.
more than one person said that. More than one person stepped into the comments, and most of the comments were very negative toward the use of this imagery. It's like okay, you want to use Cosby's creation to get these votes, but then at the same time, you've kind of taken this guy that maybe he earned some of this. I'm not going to excuse his his alleged behavior, but you're going to sort of say we don't want anything to do with him, but we're going to take what he created and use that. And I personally think that's a little bit disingenuous. I think it's I think that you can still enjoy the Cosby Show. In fact, let me ask everybody, give me a yes or no. How many of you still watch the Cosby Show and enjoy watching it? Like if you saw it on TV right now, how many of you would give me a yes if you would watch it and enjoy it? Or how many of you would just turn it off because you're so appalled by his presence on television? Answer me in the chat. Also, as you hit the thumbs up button, I want to remind everybody you're watching Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. This is my wife, Dr. Alicia. And by the way, if you want to know where my wife does her thing, you can actually go to her website, which she sees clients on an individual basis, couples and families. So you can go to coachingwithdralicia.com. That's coachingwithdralicia.com. Okay. So yeah, I see my name is Corey says I still watch it unapologetically. Ryan Turner says yes. Terry Silver, yes. I'm looking for a no. I don't see any no's. There's no no's. So what's interesting is when you talk about Cosby's legacy, I think about that and what that means. I'm going to say something that is going to sound a little strange. I don't think his legacy is ruined at all. I think that his legacy in the Black community, his legacy is very strong. Now, mind you, people might still think that he's a pervert, that he did some stuff he shouldn't have done. But most Black people, if I did a poll and said, do you still admire some of Bill Cosby's achievements? A lot of Black people are going to say, hell yeah. He created A Different World. He created educational shows. He created Fat Albert. He gave all that money to the HBCUs. He gave money to HBCUs when all these celebrities out here just talk a big game and don't ever follow through. They don't. And so I'm not saying that this means Cosby's a good guy. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that it sounds to me like just like any other person that we consider to be a hero or a legend, just like every slave master who raped slaves for a living, or just like every racist that's been in the White House, maybe his legacy's just mixed. Maybe that's what it may. Again, maybe among white people now, his legacy's gone. But I personally think that's a fragile legacy to begin with. I think that if you are a Black man and you have a good reputation amongst melanin deficient people in America, you're always at risk. You're always in danger. You're one bad Rolling Stone, New York Times article away from having everything you work for destroyed in front of you. So I personally think, based on what I just saw in the chat, to the people that matter to me, y'all matter to me. They don't matter to me, but the people that matter to me still love Cosby. They love Different World. They see nuance. What do you think about that?
Okay, so I got two things to say. Number one, I think everybody out here needs to sit down with your family right now, starting today, and start watching every single episode of The Cosby Show, starting from episode 1 all the way to the final episode. And then when you're done, go on to The Different World and start watching that together as a family, because it is priceless piece of art. Okay, I just want to say that. Now, yes, we know the contributions that Bill Cosby has made to television and to Black people in general, but we also know that he fell flat on his face. He went to prison. Seemed like any and everybody who was around him in that time started hollering and got on the bandwagon. I'm talking about subconsciously. We saw him fall. and his legacy in general, his legacy in general has been tarnished. He fell from grace. He was voted, I believe at the time, he was voted the number one TV dad from what was it called? TV Guide voted him. That means he beat out all the other white fathers that we saw on TV. He beat all of them out. He was the number one TV dad. He cut across everything. And I think with Bill Cosby, I think he knew the impact of his work. He knew the impact of the Cosby Show, and he was a little upset with what happened after the Cosby Show. Because remember, the Cosby Show was like a seminal piece where we can say, look, Black people can name their children Theodore. What was his middle name? Theodore. I mean, come on. That's so, it's a little elitist in a way, right? To have a doctor and a lawyer and to show all of that. He thought that the rest of the Black TV shows would follow suit, and it did not. You know, what happened after the Cosby Show met its success, the subsequent shows behind it was, you know, back on a little bit of buffoonery again. And I think Cosby became very upset with what Black people were doing. And he felt, you know, he felt that we needed to carry ourselves a certain way. So it was this inner battle. And I think, you know, that made him, he was a little, I think he became a little cynical when you listen to his speech. And then he gave that speech. Do we want to talk about that speech he gave? The famous speech, the pound, what's it called? The pound cake speech? Come on.
Yeah.
The pound cake speech.